Hello and welcome to DM Reacts. My name is Ramji and I am going to react to a video from a show that I have seen before. Well, I haven't seen it before, but I've reacted to it before. It's called Community. So, with no further ado, here we go.
Let's begin. A blood-orange sunrise crests the peaks of Rage Mountain as the eight of you arrive at the troubled realm of Galandor. Ahead to the north, a bridged ravine. Beyond that, a mysterious black tower where, rumor has it, an evil necromancer dwells.
That's quite nice. I like the setting, and let's begin so we know we're about to kick off the game, and then here is the exposition that tells you where you are, where you're going, or what sort of the rumor or the general plot of the upcoming adventure is going to be.
Your goal: reach the top of the tower and destroy the necromancer, freeing the realm from his evil magic.
Oh, that's just what I love about role-playing games, is being told exactly what to do.
Me too.
Well, at least the premise of what your Dungeon Master is going to do is actually pretty useful, despite this rather follicularly challenged fellow's complaints. It is usually a good idea to let your players know what the rough thing you have in mind is as a DM. Now, of course, they can, and I tell you, will go off script, off reservation, and in any particular direction they care for, but at least they're making a conscious choice, rather than, as so many players have experienced, that sensation of, well, what the hell am I supposed to do here anyway?
Oh boy. Joseph Gordon Diehard. Really? Son of Sir Riggs Diehard.
Well, I'm Sir Riggs Diehard, so I guess I'm your dad in the game, too.
I got an idea. Why don't we just sort of reshuffle all these and just redistribute?
Player chaos begins.
And here we go. Hello, everyone. I am Tristram Steelheart. I'm a holy cleric with a mace and a dumb name.
Ouch.
I'm Tiny Nuggins, a thief, and the rest is gibberish.
I'm a crouton, the half-orc druid. Oh, crouton.
Hector the Well-Endowed? Again?
You think that's a weird coincidence? I'm a troll named Dingleberry.
Well, yes, usually a good idea to let your players pick their own names sometimes, especially if you end up with a player who may object to being called Dingleberry the Troll.
I'm who Hickey was, Sir Riggs Diehard.
I am Joseph Gordon, son
Of Riggs.
I protect the blade of Diehard, a family sword whose power knows no equal. In our clan, the leader carries the hilt, his eldest heir the blade, for we believe man's greatest weapon against evil is the bond between father and son.
Now, this is actually a good point. So, contrived backstories where the players are already in some way intertwined. It's actually very important to get both players, or however many players you have involved, on board with it beforehand. Even in this particular contrivance of the story of itself, you can see how awkward it is and how it can seem like you're trying to force a player or a couple of players into a situation. And you should, as we've discussed before, always be very careful of forcing players into situations with their characters, but that are relate to them as players themselves. So certainly don't force a player into a romantic situation, don't force a player into a conflict, don't force a player into something where they then have to have another emotional context, not of their choosing, with another one or more players.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna head across the bridge, actually. I mean, what else is out there? What's south or
Player chaos begins.
east or west? How about a disease? If I walk too far south, do I fall off your graph paper there?
You can head south. I've generated some details about the surrounding area.
Nice, nice. So there is always a moment where people try and test their Dungeon Master to say, well, what happens if I go this way? Assuming that it's going to be like a computer game with an invisible wall or otherwise, but, well, we're a special breed. And many of us have got pages upon pages or wikis filled with writings, ideas, notes, little pictures that we've come across, and the most classical of all, the ring binder. The one ring binder to rule them all.
You know, for God's sakes, Hank, it's been 5 seconds. Can you not do this?
Hey, you tell me.
Are we losing?
No, it's not a competition. The only winner is fun. We're having fun.
The only winner is fun. Isn't it, everyone?
And I pick him up and I carry him to the bridge. It's fun.
Hector the Well-Endowed is trying to lift you.
I cast Torben's Flesh of Fire.
This is not a standard Dungeons & Dragons spell, but let's see what it does.
Tristram murmurs an incantation. His body becomes wreathed in white-hot flame, burning Hector for
Nice.
6 damage.
Hey!
Well, Hector, that's called self-defense.
Tristram's Flesh of Fire spell has caught the bridge on fire. The rope supports in the middle snap, causing the bridge to twist. I'm rolling dexterity checks to see if you all hold on.
So the majority of times, players roll their own checks. In original classic Dungeons & Dragons, way back when, the original box set, the DM rolled all the dice. In fact, the players just gave them instructions, and the DM used to roll 6-sided dice to determine what happened. Dice 6, as they said back in the day.
Abed, considering the bigger picture, you think it might be possible you miscalculated the strength of the bridge?
Good point. It would have been constructed in the Third Age by goblins, and they used primitive iron anchors. The ropes are yanked from the rocky slopes on both sides, and you all plummet into the ravine below.
The obvious hint there is a metagame for the metagame that is happening, but the Dungeon Master has got a little caught up, as we all do, as we all want to do, in their own creation. And, well, actually, that's a good point. Thank you for the reminder. This is actually a Third Age Goblin bridge, so as a result, it seems to have been constructed with dynamite, so it explodes violently. I need everyone to make death saving throws.
So whatever between you guys will only get fixed when you're together.
They're not together.
Abed, you're not helping.
I'd be a pretty bad Dungeon Master if I was.
And there's some truth to this. Dungeon Master's role is to make sure his players have fun, and that they have fun, not at the expense of anyone's dignity, but at the same point, not helping. It's part of being a Dungeon Master.
You awaken on a muddy riverbank surrounded by treacherous, godforsaken, non-zipline vacation jungle.
I build a fire and construct a crude wooden rack to dry my boots and oversized cod piece.
And I can make some s'mores out of horse meat and some more horse meat.
Build a fire horse, screw this. The river runs east, I head west.
Tiny Nuggin scampers into the jungle.
Hey, pal, I didn't scamper in the jungles of Nicaragua. I'm not gonna do it now.
Tiny Nuggins, if we rest, we'll regain our strength.
I lose my family. I'll imaginary sleep when I'm imaginary dead.
Through the brush in the distance, you notice a patrol of half a dozen hobgoblins. Larger, stronger, and worth more in Scrabble than regular goblins.
There is a word that Matt Colville uses called verisimilitude. It's the idea that your actions in the world should be equally realistic to your actions in this world. So when something in the world behaves in a way that it would work in this world, even including all the wonders of magic and goblins and everything else, it adds to the intensity and enjoyment of the experience. So his I'll imaginary sleep when I'm imaginary dead because he needs to find his family added verisimilitude to this scene. Despite the fact that it's an imaginary game and people are in their imaginary minds, the emotions are not imaginary.
Entangle on them.
The druid waves her arms, causing grass, vines, and branches to entangle the limbs of 4 hobgoblins. The 2 free hobgoblins fire arrows at Crouton. One pierces her shoulder.
Oh!
The other her chest.
Oh! I fire an arrow at them!
They would need to both have done their attack rolls and their damage rolls in order to be able to realistically talk about this, but let's see what happens.
These hobgoblins don't like their odds. They bolt into the jungle.
Yeah, you better run. Go find a name that's not just another creature's name plus hob.
Fair point.
Crouton?
I'm here.
She was badly wounded from her fall in the Skull River. And the arrows were just too much. I'm sorry.
That's it? She dead?
Yes, that's it, Hickey. I'm dead. But it's okay. I'm on your side. Which is why I'm dead. And I may be gone, but just remember, whenever the wind whispers through the woods, you got me killed.
I'm getting the impression that there's a bit more to this metagame than expected.
Now, you listen to me, young man. I've punched about 1,000 hearts in my life. I never missed.
Have you ever been a 3-foot-tall halfling running through 2-foot-high vines trying to punch a 7-foot monster? I'm gonna go check on the others. You might want to check your character, or just kind of generally take this game seriously. Your son does.
I take a moment of silence to mourn my fallen comrade Crouton before rifling through her belongings.
This is pretty good Dungeons and Dragons.
Stay your blade, Joseph Gordon. Sky spiders are as frightened of us as we are of them. Plus, they eat all the sky mosquitoes. I cast Speak with Monsters, and I say, hello. You're looking well.
The lead spider bends 4 knees and twitches its hairy ovipositor, rhythmically secreting and retracting a giant droplet, or drop, of silk. Fibrosis, as a ranger, you recognize this as the arachnid signal of submission.
Oh, nice work, Tristram.
Damn, you made that sky spider a bitch, yo!
One guard hot guards the door. That's what we call guarding.
Sniper arrow on the guard.
It strikes true. The guard drops.
I move to the doorway, detect traps.
None detected.
I enter.
Left flank.
Right! One hobgoblin facing east.
Backstab.
Double damage. Critical hit. He's dead. 5 goblins enter from the north.
I fire.
Both arrows hit.
Cleave.
You kill one and wound another.
I drop on the last one and grapple.
You got hold of him.
This one's for Crouton.
With his dying breath, he utters, "The Dark Lord will kill you all."
Wait, these things can talk? I want 2 taken alive. I want to try something.
This could get dark, folks. But I've got to say, that little bit of segue with them, working their way through this fortress and, basically murder hoboing their way through the hobgoblins was pretty cool. Felt pretty intense to me.
I'm going to put my dagger down right here so we can just talk. Human trash. Look, I'm going to give it to you straight. We're looking for a necromancer. We don't need 2 goblins to find him. So between you and your friend, who do you think's the most useful? Man, your friend sure can talk.
Liar, he'll never turn.
Oh, yeah, because of that famous goblin loyalty. I could never drive a wedge between you and some guy from work.
I was best man at that guy's wedding.
Your friend says you just got married. Congratulations. Too bad about the food.
I hope your flesh rotten. Wait, what about the food?
Oh, I guess he didn't like your wedding toast.
Golback said that?
Clang doesn't approve of you and Lisa Goldback, and I don't get the sense it's because of his feelings for you. I think about Lisa sitting in that hole in Darktooth Canyon with old Frimrock and Grignog rolling about on the wolf pelts. Come on, between you and me, which one do you think is yours?
I know where the tower is.
I'm not entirely sure how I feel about psychological conditioning and torture methods used for, or interrogation methods, we might say, not torture necessarily, used as part of D&D game, but I think I feel pretty good about it, actually.
Father, forgive me. I have traveled so far from you. How many game days since the Skull River ripped us apart? How many real hours since I've gone pee? We seek this necromancer. Why?
It's possible some people get this into their characters. I certainly have got into the backstories of my NPCs to this level of depth before. But I'm impressed by this person's commitment.
Should you receive this message, I know of a way to reunite. According to my character sheet, if I rub the blade of our magic family sword while you rub the hilt, twin beacons of light will reveal our locations to each other. Each night I will think of you and rub. Praying for the night fate will find us rubbing together. Your son, Joseph Gordon Diehard.
Ooh. Almost always, if you roll 100 on a D100 table, something incredibly unlikely and quite monumental is going to happen. It happens, obviously, 1% of the time. So it's not that infrequently in terms of how often you'll roll 2d10, but at the same point, that's infrequent enough that in the player's history of playing many characters, they may never have seen 2 zeros pop up when they needed to. When you're rolling that table for divine intervention, or you're rolling for some particularly obscure or difficult outcome. So that 00 is the reason why he double checked. He went, oh yeah, it's a high note. Oh, whoa, that's 100. Well, something's about to happen, folks.
A sparrow lands on Riggs Diehard's shoulder. It carries a note.
Abed, I rub my sword's hilt?
A beam of light shoots up from your location as the hilt of Diehard seeks its blade. The beam arcs and meets an equal beam in the woods to the north.
Is that where the others are?
Yes, 10 miles away. Same as you.
So we'll be arriving at the tower,
At the same time, tomorrow morning.
This began as a race.
but it may end in war. This is a man who thinks of grandchildren like trophies. Which is why he'll play to win. Why I can't let him. Rise, brave, sweet Dingleberry. Rise.
Both parties have arrived at the Black Tower.
So there's clearly a party split here, obviously along the dramatic sort of narrative lines of the actual show itself. But actually, speaking as DM, running 2 separate groups at the same time in the same room with a single DM is definitely doable and does have to be done at times. But it does lead to some difficulty because each time you go and you set up something and maybe you do a combat or 2, or you basically get the game going and moving along, that might take an hour to an hour and a half, during which time that other group, sure, maybe they're staying engaged in the game, but more likely they're sort of eating Doritos and talking about what's going on in the world, and maybe they've started to watch some Netflix or something else because they're just passing time. So it's genuinely not recommended to split the party like this dramatically, unless you have one of 2 things. One is you have a montage machine, which they clearly do here, or you have another DM, somebody else to be your assistant, who while you are telling and pushing the main narrative, they have an instruction. So for example, if at the end of your time with group A, the assistant comes along and you basically say, right, so now the journey is from now to the Dark Tower, and you're going to have 2 random encounters along the way, and it's going to be like 90 minutes in total, while I work with the other group to be able to bring them along so they're at the right point so I can reconverge the groups. I mean, that's advanced dungeon mastering, but it does work. This dungeon master is actually very competent. The way that they've written him, the way that he's actually constructing the game, the level of description, narrative, and engagement, I think is fantastic. I just wouldn't necessarily recommend this approach.
Too bad you're outnumbered.
No, they're not. I'm not part of this. I am Joseph Gordon Diehard, and I am only here to hug my father, which I now do.
It's a trick.
I'm not letting him hug me.
I hug my father!
He has gunpowder in his pants.
I draw my sword! Stay back!
I draw an arrow. So do I.
Troll sound! Jeff, do you lower your sword?
No.
Dean, are you?
I hug my father!
You're impaled.
Good Lord.
Sunslayer!
Attack Jeff!
Arrow and Chase! Arrow and Annie!
I head for the door of the tower.
So do I!
This is quite intense.
Demonic eye look!
Put one right behind the ear.
So Riggs, hand in your character sheet.
Intense.
Top floor of the tower, 1 door.
I open it.
I cast Flame Strike on
You
him.
cast that already.
Mace!
Okay, missed.
I hit him with a throwing dagger.
You used all your knives.
Ah, well, one of you guys take care. What? You're all dead? I keep going.
I follow.
You've reached the necromancer's workshop. You see his bed, some bottles of goop, some other necromancing crap.
You can see by this point the DM's got a little tired of the interaction. He's like, yeah, he's there, it's his bedroom. There's some goop and some other crap.
You find a secret door. It's easy because it's already open. It leads to a ladder which goes straight down to another open door on the back of the tower.
Oh, man! Way to go. That's great. He just got away.
Hey, you can't just say he's gone. You owe us an ending.
I owe you nothing. I am a dungeon master. I create a boundless world and I bind it by rules. Too heavy for a bridge? It breaks. Get hit, take damage. Spend an hour outside someone's front door fighting over who gets to kill him. He leaves through the back. He's out there somewhere. You might find him if you get your crap together.
I like verisimilitude. The bad guy is not waiting for you inside when the two teams of adventurers come along to kick his ass. He's either going to look and go, fireballs and, napalm death, or he's going to go, I think I have a pre-existing appointment I need to be at. And then out the back door and off he goes.
All right, I'm climbing down the ladder. I'm gonna find this guy.
I stay and search the workshop. Does he have any stuff there that can heal me?
You do find some potions.
Okay, well, I get half of that.
Excuse me, you just went down the ladder.
Well, I can hear you. Can I hear him looting upstairs?
Not if I move about silently.
Fine. If I heal you, can we divide the potions?
Okay. But I decide who gets what.
All right, fine, but we got to be wary of traps.
Well,
and
don't
the
have to
wand of
do
Orcus.
What's going on?
Oh, I believe they're learning to collaborate.
Do they like each other now?
Are you kidding me? They can't stand being in the same room. I also don't think they can handle being apart. And I think they just found a way to avoid doing either. And that's the best most fathers and sons can do.
I think Community has delivered yet again, actually. I think the show seems to be very well made and produced, even though I probably won't watch it again, except as part of a reaction. However, all fair play. I think the Dungeon Master has created a compelling world. He speaks with a compelling pace and tempo to his voice. His descriptions are clear, but they're interesting. I think that the players, the actors representing these players, really got into the game, even though the game was set up from the beginning to be part of, whatever their meta goal was of bringing this sort of father and son together to some form of rapprochement. I do think that they've done a fantastic job of genuinely showing a Dungeons and Dragons game, a campaign, in a really good light. It comes over very positively. Well done, Community. Thank you very much. This has been DM Reacts Community, and we'll have something more for you soon that I've never seen before, and you get to come along and watch me react. But it's a great time, if you don't mind, to hit that subscribe button down there, or down there, or down there, or somewhere down there, and hit the little bell, because we're, just a small channel that's making its way into a big multiverse, and your every single click and watch and subscribe matters to us. Your comments are meaningful and we really enjoy them, we interact with them, we like to see them, so please, if you've got any feedback, any thoughts, any comments, please stick a little bit down below. Thank you very much, see you next time.